Okay, so we're going to start with distributive property with fractions. So notice how the 2/3 is on the outside. So we're going to multiply our 2/3 times both parts. So we're going to do 2/3 times 9/1. You can cross simplify, so then that's 1 and 3. So then we get 6/1. So we have 6n. Then we have 2/3 times 12/1. Cross simplify again, and we're going to get 8/1. And notice that negative sign there, so it's positive 2/3 times negative 12, which will get us negative 8. So we end up with 6n minus 8. Be sure you're filling in these notes with me, not just the answer. Make sure you're showing the work. So here's the next one. We've got two different parts, but notice what's in the middle is the negative sign. So for the negative sign, you've got to make sure that you distribute that to both parts. So we end up with 3x plus 1/2 minus 7x plus 4 1/2. The reason that becomes a positive, it was negative, kind of -1, if you kind of see that in there, times negative 4 1/2. So at this point now, I'm going to train it up. And then I'm going to combine my like terms. So I have 3x and negative 7x, which is negative 4x. Then 4 1/2 plus 1/2 equals positive 5, plus 5 for that. So we're going to go to these next ones. And what I want you to really notice is where the thing is that we're distributing. So before they were always in front. But notice where this negative 4 is. It's behind it. So we're going to distribute it from the back, and that's okay. So we're going to distribute it to both parts. So negative 4 times y is going to be negative 4y. Then 1/2 times 4/1. We can cross simplify, gives us 2/1. And notice that it's negative 4 and negative 1/2, which then is going to give us the positive 2. For this next one, notice that we have the x, okay, out here with the negative 1/2. We're going to distribute it to both parts. So we're going to do 1/3 times 12/1. Guys, always watch that cross simplify, and it'll save so much time on these. So then we get 4, but notice it was negative 1/3, so it's going to be negative 4x. Make sure you remember that x in there as well. Then we're going to do negative 1/3 x times negative x. So the negative and the negative is going to give me a positive 1/3 x squared. That's because we have x times x, which gives us x squared. So watch that when you multiply the two x's together. For this one now, again, we're going to do distribute that negative 1 into both parts. So negative 1, excuse me, times 3y is going to give me negative 3y. Negative 1 times negative 1/2 is going to give me a positive 1/2. So now we're going to distribute the 1/2 to both parts. So we're going to do 1/2 times 2/1, which just gives me 1n. So we just have n. And then 1/2 times 6/1. Cross simplify, we end up with 3/1. And those were both positive, so we end up with n plus 3. So now what I want you to do is I want you to try and do the notes on the back. Make sure that there's a few where you have to distribute and then combine your like terms. So make sure you're doing that. Go ahead and start with distributing. Remember, if there's anything outside of it, you'll distribute that to both parts. Then make sure you combine your like terms.